Divock Origi came to Liverpool after a pretty good summer performance of 2014 and then an absolute whimper of loan spells at Lille and Wolfsburg. However, no matter what Origi has been capable of doing on and off the pitch, he has endeared himself in the hearts of fans all over for some of the most important goals a Liverpool player can grab. While erecting a statue outside of Anfield may seem a bit much for a player with only just over about 100 appearances for the club, he will always be a fan favorite. That is why I am making Divock Origi the second player profile to grace this channel. So we start off at Liverpool. 9.4 to 28 million is his worth at 26 years of age. So obviously we're not starting with a brand new boy here. But first touch of 16, strength of 16. His numbers are not too bad for, I would say, Liverpool's second rotation. He is definitely a bench player on this team, especially with the front three that Liverpool have. However, I would say on a lower side, for Premier side, somewhere around middle tier or bottom half of the Premier League, I think he could definitely get into a first team squad. I would say Roma, he could, and my Roma save, he could probably get into, at least squad rotation. He would definitely be used a fair bit during the season. But I definitely think he can get into the first team of a lot of different clubs. However, he is expensive. When I tried to get him for my Roma save, Liverpool wanted upwards of 25 to 35 million for him. And for someone who is probably going to sit on the bench for at least a little while, that was just not feasible. So that is his biggest problem right now to me, is just the expense. But let's see how he does in the next 5 years. As you can see, 5 years on, he has moved. Actually, he's moved several times. He is in Milan right now. His numbers have not really changed all that much. Technique has gone up to 16. However, pretty much everything everything really is right around where he was. Even his price. His price has gone up a little, 9.6 million to 29 million. He is 31 years old. It's not too bad for a 31-year-old player. I would really love to see in a save how much Milan would actually sell him for. I would guess it's going to be the same thing with Liverpool. But growing, obviously, from a 26-year-old to a 31-year-old, growth is not going to be all that much. At least nowhere near it would be if he was 21 to 26. So as you can see, his numbers are fairly right where they were, with a couple of increases here and there. So now the question is he even a player in the next 5 years? Let's take a look. So now I have had to take a look at this a couple of different times. This is 2031, right at the tail end of the season. You can see his contract expires in 2 days. He is 36 years old, worth 5,000 to 16,000. Numbers have not really changed. His strength has gone down a bit much. However, everything else is on the decline. His flair, his first touch, his technique are still at 16. So physicals are on the decline. Some other things are doing pretty much bang average. But he has been traveling a bunch. Actually, what I want to show you is he basically just retires in 2 days, and that is it. So let me get there and I'll show you all his biography. So to be honest, I simmed a couple of days and he hadn't done anything. He was out of contract and kind of waiting around for something to happen. Nothing happened. I ended up going to get dinner, simming until the end of the next season. And as you can see, he is officially retired as a player at the age of 36. So after Liverpool, he went to Tottenham, then Napoli, Milan, Benfica. That's going to be a loan move to Dynamo Kiev. Overall, not too bad. 98 appearances, 36 goals for Milan is not unhappy. And 3 years there. 66 appearances for Benfica, 12 goals. Again, that's a lot more time, but overall, he's had a fairly good career, kind of a squad rotating career. As you can see, joining Liverpool at 10.25 million, made 109 appearances, then sold off to Tottenham for 16.75. Then a year later, joining Napoli for 21, getting a good margin from that one. And then being sold off the year next for AC Milan for 21.5. So his prices are going up and up and up. Then finally going to Benfica a few years later for 18.75. Time on loan at Dynamo Kiev, making 19 appearances, 13 goals. Not too bad for kind of the upwards of his career. 35 years old at Dynamo Kiev. Not starting every game, but starting maybe roughly half the matches. 13 goals, not too bad. He does have 15 first place trophies, 7 second place trophies, and 1 third place trophy. Honestly, I think from my standpoint, he was kind of the wonder kid that never really fully got to where his potential might have been. I think he's done very well in the leagues that he's been in and the teams he's played in. But I think that move to Liverpool, I think if he moved somewhere slightly less where he could have had a much better chance after a couple of years more growth to be a starting player, that would have really skyrocketed his career. My only opinion. I think this dude has some fantastic abilities. Again, he scored some incredibly important goals. Tottenham Champions League. He's got some Everton goals that have been absolutely fantastic for Liverpool. This is a boy who I think could have gotten a lot more potential if he had just joined maybe a lower club. Coming into Liverpool, the front three was always changing. He was on loan for a couple years. We get Mane, we get Salah, we get Firmino. I mean, there's no way now that he's going to get into the team. I would love to see him in real life move off to a club that actually will use him day in and day out. And I'm really hoping he can get his form in and just score loads for, not against Liverpool, but for someone else. But that is Divock Origi. As always, if you have a player you want to see, just leave that name in the description below. If you would rather not see a player, you want to see a competition or a team or a league or a nation, definitely let me know, and I will cover whatever I can. So anyway, that is it for me, Sefian FM. As always, thank you so much for watching. Take care and enjoy.